Hi there, this is Jen, and thanks for joining me today. Today is the June Card Hoppin' event, and this month's theme is Greek, and the technique is either Kaleidoscope or stained glass. I am going to be doing Kaleidoscope. This was probably one of the harder challenges that I have done, to be honest. I had a really hard time trying to figure out everything with this card, but I did eventually figure it out, and that was with the help of a tutorial on Split Coast Stampers YouTube channel. I'll leave a link to the video below. This is a genius technique. I don't know if the person that's doing the video on Split Coast created this or if it was somebody else, but it is a really super easy, fabulous technique for creating kind of that kaleidoscope look with just a stamp and some squares. And I am using 2x2 squares of Bristol Smooth cardstock. I'm using one of my favorite stamp sets from Indigo Blue called Peony Posy. It is a red rubber stamp. And I've gone ahead and taken a piece of grid paper and put it in my MISTI, and I am just drawing a reference line with a marker. In the video that Split Coast Stampers did, she uses a little bit of a different technique. So if you're interested in seeing how she does it and some other samples that she made, like I said, I will leave a link below so you can check out that video as well. But basically, you want to put your stamp at an angle and leave a little bit of white space, or I guess you could not leave any white space. It's totally up to you. I experimented with this with a little bit with some different stamps, and I found out that the busier or the more that's going on the stamp, the better the kaleidoscope effect will look, at least in my opinion. Like I said, you can experiment with this. This is super fun, and I'm definitely going to try this again. So what you're going to do is you're going to take those squares and you're just going to set them in the same spot and leave your stamp in the same spot. Ink up your stamp and just keep stamping it. So you're going to stamp all 4 of those squares in basically the exact same spot. And so that's what I've already gone ahead and done. And again, this is Bristol Smooth cardstock because I am going to do a little bit of coloring with my Zig brush markers. And so after you have all of your stamping done, you just want to kind of lay out the squares how you think the effect looks the best. And so it's just the coolest thing. I don't know if you could tell or not, but it is so cool just to see it. Almost like it comes together as one, kind of like the kaleidoscope. And so I wanted to color these images all at once just to make sure that I got my coloring fairly not even, but just so that it looked a little put together. And so I went ahead and I took some press and seal, picked up those squares and flipped that over. And I'm going to kind of get these squares lined up as best as I can and then add a little bit of tape to the back so that it's basically making it all one piece. And I tried to figure out how to do this without having to cut these into squares. And the only way I can think maybe to do it without, having to cut the different squares is to maybe create a template, and you just have to have your measurements pretty exact, and that is definitely not something that I am very good at. And so this ended up being the easiest and quickest technique or method for me. And so once I have these squares all lined up, I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that everything is taped up really good. While I'm doing that and while I'm doing a little bit of the coloring, I just wanted to mention, if you're not familiar with the Card Hoppin' Facebook group, it's a group where we organize hops every month, and it's kind of like a challenge. So we have a different theme every month, and then we have 2 techniques to choose from for our project. And so if you're interested in joining or feel like that's something that you would like to do, I'll go ahead and leave a link below and you can check it out. So I'm going to do a little bit of coloring with some blues, and that is where the Greek comes in. The Greek colors, if I remember correctly, are white and blue, and so that is why I did the flower in blue to get that Greek theme. And then for my card, I did this in the largest mat is 5 3/4, and then the smallest mat, the smallest blue mat is 4.5 by 4.5, and so I just went ahead and matted it and then added the sentiment just a little high for me, and that's going to do it for my card today. I hope you try this. If you do, I would love it if you would tag me on Instagram. I'm over on Instagram at Jenlee Schoolcraft, and if you like this video, I would love a thumbs up, and as always, I thank you so much for spending some time with me today, and I hope to see you next time.